Marriage is one of the best decisions I ever made.
God ordained and established this covenant. We are a part of that beautiful union.
So it's time that we promote this unconditional love and help families understand how.
Through prayer,
faith,
commitment,
sacrifice, humility, submission,
and the love of God,
you can have a beautiful,
lifelong,
loving marriage. Now, it won't be perfect,
but it will be worth it.
So join us for 28 Days of Love
on February 1st through the 29th at 6 p.m.
as we celebrate love and marriage
and change the visual narrative we see on social media by presenting a healthy marriage
and share the benefits of covenant.
You can expect to hear encouraging testimonies,
communication tips,
how to relate with your mate,
establish new love goals and goals,
write a marriage and family vision, and singles learn how to prepare for your partner,
as well as gain ideas for dating
as a way to reignite and dial up that love flame.
See you Thursday, February 1st at 6 p.m. for
28 Days of Love.
Well, welcome
to 28 Days of Love. I'm Kim.
And I'm Dr. New.
He's got to sing his part. You guys should be used to this now. This is year 3. He is going to sing his name.
Listen, we love the fact that you're taking some time out of your day to come in and to celebrate and make marriage famous.
Absolutely. It's so important. God established something great in this covenant, and I'm so glad to be a part of that covenant.
Right. Marriage life is the best life.
It's the best life. And today we have 2 very special marvelous guests that we've heard so much about. We don't know them personally, but we are getting to know them. And a dear friend of ours, Norm McMahon, gave us their testimony, told us a little bit about them, and we just had to have
Gotta hear from them. So I got my pencil and paper ready to take notes and learn something. So we want you to go ahead and give a good big virtual round of applause for Mr. Jim and Miss
Kimilie Devine. Come on in.
Welcome in.
And the crowd goes wild.
Well, we want to thank you for spending some time with us today.
Yes.
I was listening before we got the show started. Mr. Jim was telling us about a ministry going on at their church
and all the good things happening.
Churches teaching other churches
how to build
be a
the
church.
ministry.
Yes, that is amazing. That's kingdom work, right?
Unified kingdom work.
That's kingdom
not
work,
personal stuff. Yes, that's amazing.
Indeed. So if they're in that kind of ministry, that only tells you what kind of people they are.
That tells you what kind of people
So get your pencil, get your paper, get ready.
Yes, and you young folks who are wondering about marriage, you're going to hear so much good stuff today. Prepare yourself. Get your notepad. As I like to say, get your launch pad ready. So you can write down some of the things that you hear from these great people of God today.
That's right.
So we're going to let them, you want to say something else?
No, I was just going to say, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, tell us your name.
Or anything that you might have going on that people should know right now.
Yes.
Well, he told his story about how he was in ministry at the church. I was in ministry at prayer at 7 and followed by prophet school. So I got out at like 1 o'clock and I left my house like 6. So we both were in ministry doing separate things, but we just love God. And yes.
Well, introduce yourself to the people because they don't know you. Tell them.
Okay. My name is Kimilie Devine and
my name is James Devine. Jim.
Love it.
And we met and have been loving our life ever since.
Yes. These are the best years of our life. The best.
Ooh, the best years.
Love it. So
go ahead. Some of the things that we always like to do is for people to tell us how they met.
How'd you meet?
And
what attracted you to each other?
Yes.
Well, in this day and age, computers are a big part of everything. So it was online dating.
Wow.
And it was just reading each other's profiles, seeing likes, dislikes, a small bio, what you got to, what you want out of a date, out of a mate.
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And something just totally pulled me towards her to where I would send her messages and wait for days for an answer, not knowing that she was, widowed and working, a couple jobs and whatnot, not really having a lot of time.
Right.
But then it just got to the point where, can we talk on the phone instead of typing messages?
Right. Right.
She sent me a number. Our first conversation was 2.5 hours.
Ooh, love it. Love it.
Hasn't stopped since.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to go backdrop for a second. So I was married for 30 years to my childhood sweetheart. And he passed away of cancer in 2012.
Wow.
He was a good husband. He used to be my pastor. So I declared and decreed that I was not getting married again. That was my declaration. And I had my pea shoes on. And I said, I'm not getting married again because I had a good marriage. And I know what bad marriages were like because my mom had. And so I literally said I wasn't going to do it. So different people would tell me, oh, you're still young. You should go online. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. So they put me online, got a picture. And you know what? For years, I didn't even know the password, so I couldn't get back on that site. So how did I get to this point? I went to visit my friend's dad who had cancer. And she said, travel with me to North Carolina. I did. The sweetest man. He said to me after day 2 at his house, well, are you dating? I'm like, nope. He said, well, why? Because I said, I don't want to. So then he kept coming back to that. And I'm like getting a little bit, now I said it. So he said, well, what does God say? And you know what I said? I said, it's what I said. I am not getting married again. And because this is a different age, different time. I'm too old for the foolery. I'm too old for the dumb stuff. And like I said, I had my pea shoes on and I was wearing those really well. They weren't worn out. So what ended up happening is he kept pressing it. And then he said, well, don't you trust God? Now that backed me up. Now I'm crying. I'm like, why you say that? I don't want to. He said, well, don't you know that God knows the best thing for you? And I'm like, why do I have to? I don't want to. And then he said, tell you what, write down what you want in a man. God knows. And I'm like, but I don't want nothing. And I'm still crying. Right. And then finally I did it. I said 14 things. There you go, God. Put it in the drawer. What you gonna do with that? 14. Only thing I didn't put on there was race. I didn't put race. It just didn't dawn on me to put race. And when this man kept looking, I kept looking at his pictures like, what? No, what is going on here? Turned out to be the best thing for me. The sweetest. Oh my God. Sweetest. We got married. We would crack up in the middle of the night, just laughing out loud. We were in Florida at his daughter's house, and she said, I heard y'all laughing about 3 or 4 in the morning. And I'm thinking, like, what are you listening for? Anyway, it's been great. It's been the best thing. I think I just didn't see myself married again. It's because I figured, you know what? I got away with a good husband the first time. And I've seen so much stuff, and I'm just not here for it. I'm not. I'm getting older, and I'm not going to go for the foolishness.
It's something. It seems like you, because of having such a great marriage, and because of what you saw, you made a decision that didn't involve God, and so that man, that woman's father in North Carolina, he basically was giving you a prophetic release that you could be free to receive what you wanted.
God got more.
God got more.
But God is so good. He can give a prophetic word that sometimes you just can't see the prophet talking because you say, oh, no, that's not me.
Right. So what was the one thing that attracted you to each other?
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know. It's like you see something and something, a feeling just comes upon you. Say, I just have to meet this person.
Wow.
And we met, and it was during COVID.
Yes.
So we ended up having to go to a restaurant, get a dinner, and then drive to Fort Hunter, a park, sit by the river, and just talk to each other.
Wow.
And this is the way it's going to be. This is what we're going to do. You know, she would lay out, these are the rules. You know, we're almost 60 at this time. And, you know, we ain't playing these little kiddie games. We ain't doing the sleepovers. We ain't doing this. We're not doing that. She came through so pure and genuine that it just drawed me. It's there was no hidden agendas.
Oh,
yes.
We just laid it on the line. This is the way it's going to be. And we're going to take time. And we met each other. I didn't know where she lived. She didn't know where I lived for
couldn't do that.
Probably 3 or 4 dates.
Okay.
We would meet in a thing till we got comfortable with each other. And then we finally, you know, here's where I live here, you know, and I found out where she lives and I would start picking her up here then.
Okay. So you had some safeguards, some steps.
Oh, for sure.
You have to.
If I stood up, this man is topples. He's 6'4". I'm 5'2.5". So no, he can't just come over my house because he could probably, and he's big and strong. He probably squeeze me and choke me out. I have to go slow with this.
Right. So now it's a good squeeze.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The first date that we have, I got a confirmation. So I'm getting ready. I'm getting my makeup on. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm talking to myself in the spirit. I could hear, I said, oh my God, what all these conversations we've had. 2.5 hours the first time. We know that we both love the Lord. How come I never asked him what church he went to? I'm telling you, I'm in the restroom and I said to myself, I wonder what church he goes to. And I answered myself. And I believe it was the spirit. I said, LGBC. Oh, LCBC. No. Oh, LCBC. I said, oh, no. I said, you must go to the one in York. And then I said to myself, I answered my question. And I said, wouldn't it be something if he said he went to the one in Manheim? Do you know I got out there and we opening up our meal, eating. So I said, so what church do you go to?
LCBC.
And then I got up the seat and I'm like, walking, God, what are you doing here? What are you doing? So then I come back to the seat and I said, so which one do you go to? Do you go to the one in York? And what did you say?
Manheim.
I'm like, oh, God, what in the world? I was like, okay.
Yes.
This is too much.
And it's
Now, how long have you guys been married now?
Yeah. How long? Yeah.
In 10 days, it will be 3 years.
Oh,
love it.
Listen, you guys are a testament to people who thinks that there's no possible way.
Right.
You are a walking testament.
Yes.
You are walking in the promises of God. I'm telling you. So the people know that it's not too late.
Right.
30 years of marriage.
Wow.
Like, whoa.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I'm 60 when I married him. Okay. So I wasn't even thinking.
Yes.
See, God found me in a place where my heart was 100% closed. So I'm saying that if God has a purpose for you, he knows where you live.
Right.
And the other thing about it is you cannot, this finding a mate is serious business. You can't go willy-nilly. You got to set your ground rules. You can't compromise your position because sometimes you could cause something filtering right up through the in the grave and in hell because you are all gung-ho and leaning on your desires and what you want. You could call, hey, it's been in the scriptures where he'll turn you over to your desire.
Own
But no,
self.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I don't have no desire. How about I don't even want to do this thing? And he knew how to find me. I was faithful. I did not date. He was the only date I did not date. So my husband died in 2012. I met him in 2020. So he died in 2012. And I was like, okay, I'm living for the Lord. I'm okay.
Right.
I'm doing all right.
Right.
And you can't go with your heart all desperate. You know,
That's
that's what I say. God knows where you live.
God knows where you live.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What do you believe is the key to establishing a strong foundation in marriage? And what kind of things do you do to establish that foundation?
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with conversation, you know, talking things out. I did, on the other hand, on the flip side of her, I come from a toxic marriage.
Okay.
30 years. Wow. And ended up moving to Florida, down with my daughter. And I went to a church down there. My grandson got me going into a church. My grandson. Okay, so it got to the point where I couldn't wait for Sunday. I couldn't wait for Wednesday night Bible study. I was there.
Right.
And talking to the one pastor, telling my story, and I said, you know, I even told one of my buddies, I said, I will never, ever get married again. And Pastor John set me down and says, you know, she's out there. You just haven't found her yet. I said, okay. So time come for me to leave Florida. I grew up in Johnstown, out towards Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I got sent here. Why? Why did you go there? Well, I have a brother lives around the area and stuff. Well, I could have easily went back to my hometown. I had jobs waiting on me, people that wanted me to come back. And it came to the point where God sent me here to find her. And that's what it was. That was my journey. And Pastor John set me down. He said, God has your life planned the day you were born. Yes. So he knows where you're going, and he's going to send you where you need to be. And wherever he sends you and you leave Florida, that's where you're going to find your bride.
Wow.
And the one Thursday night, Wednesday night, they says about rededication of life and getting baptized. So it was on February 13th, 2019. We got married February 13th, 2021.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Significant date. And they said, what a coincidence. I said, that wasn't a coincidence. That was God's plan. That date was.
And that's our son's birthday.
Yeah.
That's our son's birthday too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
oh my God.
I believe everything was set in stone where I needed to be, where I needed to go. And this was the woman that I was supposed to end up with.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you did.
Yes, I am. So what about you, Miss Kimilie? Is there anything you like to add to having a strong foundation in marriage?
So we had really good marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So first thing we did is we read the book, The 5 Love Languages, to discover what a love language is. A lot of times, you know, people will study what kind of car they want. They will study computer programs. Oh, this is what works with this and tinkle with that. But when it comes to their marriage, give no time. They just breathe and get up in the morning and live together, you know?
Right.
So I know what his love language is. Then on top of that, we studied personality traits of the both of us. So I know how his personality meshes with mine. So if I would have hurt his feelings, he's the personality that wouldn't say something right off, but he would think, ponder it, and think about it, and how that's the type of personality he has. So if I do something to hurt his feelings, just walk away like nothing, come back like nothing ever happened, it's still affecting him. So I know, so then we know how each other's personality works, so that we would not offend. So So we did some work, you know,
Right.
and we could say, because even his people who are older than us, put it like that, would say, so why you have to go to marriage counseling? Why you don't just get married? Why you don't, or why don't, if you go on vacation, why you can't stay in the same room? I'm like, if he's want to take me somewhere, he's got to pay for my room and his room.
You had some boundaries.
That's right.
Yes.
You had boundaries. So he mentioned he mentioned communication.
Right.
You mentioned pretty much that you got counseling. And then I'm also hearing that you had boundaries, which made a really good foundation. Things were already established, an understanding of how things were going to be. So then I have a question. How do you guys maintain that connection? And to be connected together and intimate together on a daily basis.
We just stay communicated about, you know, we were taught, I mean, a lot of things we were taught in this marriage counseling, which I highly, highly recommend to everybody to go, and you're going to find things out. And it's just about, you know, when you come home, you only have so many minutes to talk about your day. And then it's over, it's through. Or different signs, you know, I'll come home some days and she'll say, babe, how was your day? And all I have to do is say, it's over. That's the end of the conversation, because she knows it wasn't that good of a day. You know, so we respect each other. I'll come home and she'll tell me about things. We talk about, you know, work for a little bit or something. And then it's more or less, well, how you feeling? And then, you know, we just sit down and we'll have a conversation, or it's snuggle time, or, you know,
there you go.
We just talk about, you know, what we're going to do for the weekend, you know, and a lot of it comes through communication, just talking.
I love it.
I
love it. And I like the snuggle time too. I like the communication. I like the snuggle time too.
That's beautiful. So let me push things forward in a slightly different vein. See, every couple faces ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's just the yin and yang of life, if you will, right? So how do you handle stress and adversity as a team?
Yeah.
And kind of what advice would you give to others that might find themselves in a tight spot in their relationship as well?
Can we show you?
Sure.
So let's say we have a difficulty. This is how it goes. So you can't see the bottom half, but my legs are in between his legs. And it's on the outside, eye to eye.
Everything gets turned off. The phones get put away. The TV's off. She sits in the chair. I sit in the chair. Her legs are together. Mine are around hers, squeezing hers together. You grab two hands. You lock eye to eye. And you discuss things until it is resolved.
Right.
Wow.
That's how we get through any adversities, any problems, any intense fellowships. You know,
love that. Intense fellowship.
One of our friends called them spirited conversations, but I like that intense fellowships.
Yes.
But that's so good, because it's all about communication. It sounds like for you all, the big thing is communication
and the physical positioning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. There can be no distractions. That's why you can't have your phone. It got to be off.
Okay.
No TV in the background playing, you know, music or a commercial or something that catches your eye. It has to be dead silent. You cannot unlock your eyes from each other. You have to have both hands held. And then the man will lock the lady so she can't get away. I guess that's what the way the pastor explained it to us, you know, so nobody can get up and run. You know, they're locked together. And it's going to take a fight to get apart. But you sit there and you discuss it until it is resolved.
And no one's lifting a voice. We don't do the lifting a voice.
Nope, you don't lift your voice. You're talking a normal thing.
Yeah.
You don't say, well, this is the problem. Well, remember when you did this 6 months ago? No, that's gone. That's gone.
Right.
You're talking on the problem at hand. Never bring up the past, a past situation where, well, you remember when you did this? You remember when you did that? Those are gone.
because that's a losing battle right there.
It is.
Right. Keep going back to yesteryear, and it's not a fair fight because now we're talking about this. What happened today? Don't bring up something that happened 2 years ago. It's not fair because now you never get resolved. Work on that situation in hand. So, I think we've only had maybe 2 of those conversations too. So it's just basically mutual respect, because if you love somebody, you know, I always say this: if I can't help you, I'm certainly not gonna hurt you. So I'm a good one. I'm a good kid. I just didn't want to be caught.
Right.
But now that I am, I just love it.
So for some folks listening to that, it sounds like it could be awkward. Is it an awkward position, or talk about that a little?
In the beginning, when you first did it.
No, it was actually with Pastor Gottlock, and he said, okay, so I'm going to show you, quote, how to fight.
Okay.
How to fight fair.
There are no distractions. He said, I don't know if we gave him his phones. He said, where are your phones? In your pocket. You don't, your phones are done. Turn towards her. You turn towards him. He said, put your legs together. Jim, put your legs around her and squeeze.
So when you say around, it's like, show me your hand. Let's show about the hands like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One person's in and 2 people's are out.
Yeah.
So it's not like around,
Yeah. And you just hold on to each other's hands. You hold on to both hands and you just stare into the eye. Your eyes do never wander. You have to stare. And when you're talking, you can't put your head up and just start talking, or put your head down, or close your eyes. Your eyes must remain in contact the whole time. And it's just to show that I'm talking to you and you're listening. She's talking to me and I'm listening. You have my undivided attention.
And no 2 people are talking at the same time, because that's just totally disrespectful.
Right.
One at a time, because you're not listening if you're talking. Or you coming up with an answer while someone's talking. You're like, but wait a minute. No. None of that.
Right.
So each partner in marriage brings different things to the table, as we know. What are your distinct differences, and how do you intentionally make them work together?
Ooh, can we talk about the food?
Sure.
Look, let me tell you what I had. Some things that I had on my list. I had 14 things, So one, I wanted him to know how to cook. Not because I don't know how to cook, but I wanted him to know how to cook. This man is a cook. Okay? He's a cook. He makes these dishes that I never had before. And then I discovered, like, ooh, I like this. Because, they're what?
Different cultures.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what you call it? The Halupski?
Halupki.
Polish dish. I'm like, ooh, that is delicious.
Whoa.
So, and of course, now he discovered that he loved him some macaroni and cheese. Not the macaroni, not the crab, the baked real macaroni and cheese. He's like, he never used to eat some of the soul food, but he's all soul food in.
Oh, yeah.
He said, oh, yeah.
That's right, Jim. Well, it sounds like I want to come and try some of that Pulaski.
What time is dinner?
When's Jim making that Pulaski?
We can have you over.
Yeah.
And tell him what it is. Tell him what it is.
One day we would love to do it.
Right.
It's you may have heard it, and somebody might have a different name for it. It's a stuffed cabbage roll.
Oh, okay.
So it's cabbage stuffed with, it's like 80-20 hamburger and sausage, some rice. Then you cook it with some sauerkraut, a little bit of tomato on top.
He doesn't like sauerkraut. I love it.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like sauerkraut. I love it.
Then you do some mashed potatoes on the side, and you put sauerkraut over everything.
Okay.
Oh, I might have heard of that before. Yes.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh,
yeah.
Yummy.
Right. So, Mr. Jim, do you see any differences that you two have naturally that you brought together to the table that make you work? You know, that fit together, that make your marriage a success?
Trying to think of differences we have. I really can't think of anything, you know.
Okay.
Head, you know, we pretty much discuss things, you know, if we're going to do something or go somewhere, and we just, like I say, we discuss things before we go to do it. It isn't differences. We may have difference of opinions on some things,
Okay.
but we let each other. I'll say something, she'll say, "Well, here's what I'm thinking," and we both think about it. We're like, "Okay, well, what if we do this?" And it kind of compromises both the.
Yes.
There's one.
Yes.
That
There's
even if there's
something too,
opinion.
more of connecting with family. So Jim basically was alone, and I remember on the first date, I said to him, "Well, tell me something about your traditions." And he really didn't have a lot of traditions. Now there's different food and things. So I said, "Well, on Thanksgiving, I go to Maryland with my friends, and we have so much fun. We even do, after we eat, we play games, and we have a Soul Train line, and we do all this stuff, and we just have fun." And you know what he said to me? He said, because this was in June. He said, "Oh, okay, for Thanksgiving, I'm going with you to Maryland." I looked at him. I said, "It's the first," as I said, "Sir, by then you might be kicked to the curb." By then, and you know what he said? He said, "I'm going to prove myself." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
"I'm going to prove myself." I'm like,
Wow. Wow. I'm loving
Look at
this.
me.
I'm loving
So good. Yes, he's still here. He done been to many Thanksgivings.
"Huh?"
What do you say? What do you say?
I said,
What
I
did you
actually
say?
made it to Maryland for Thanksgiving this year.
That's what I said.
That's what I'm talking
You've
about.
been to many Thanksgivings,
talking
Mr.
about.
Jim. I love it.
And a whole lot more to come.
And a whole lot more Thanksgivings to come.
So let me, as we kind of wind down a little bit, both of you have some time in a previous marriage, and you have this marriage experience. What would you tell your young self today if your young self was entering marriage?
The big thing that and you could ask our pastor, that I push is counseling. You need to sit down. You need to have, you know, when you're real young, you're stupid, you know, and it's true part. It's just love bells and hearts floating in your head, and you don't really think about it.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, and like this time here, we took it, and you know, you got to make God part of your marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you have to. You know, when I was a little kid, that's how you went to church, and you know, I grew up, you know, going with my father, and we just think it would just. I guess in the first one we didn't push towards that. You have to involve, you know, the church and God in your marriage.
Yes.
And you can't live on love.
That's good, Jim.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
You can't live on just, you know what? I love this person. I do. I love her. But I love being with her. I love going to church with her. I love our Sunday mornings together.
Yes.
Praising together, praying together.
Right.
You know, you have to bring that into your marriage.
Yes.
At a young age, I think, you know, the first one, maybe that was some of the things I was missing.
Okay.
Yes, you went to church because, okay, well, you know, we'll go there, and maybe, you know, since I showed up for an hour and a half, I'll be I'll be saved.
Right.
But you really didn't do what we're doing now with the ministries and being part of your church, you know, and doing things.
Right.
And spreading the word.
Wow.
So it is much different now. And I think the young people just got to remember that you can't just live on that glitter in your eyes and that lovey-dovey, you know. There got to be some kind of solid foundation. You have to think of future and Think about children you're bringing into the world and things of that nature.
Wow.
That's good.
I say God created marriage, so he knows the model. We don't know anything, but it's a straight path if you follow what God says to do. And this is a bond that he created. And he's just like he created the order of things. So it's important.
Yes.
I love that that you're talking about, that God, he actually created it, so he knows what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And his church is the example of him married to the bride, and he's the bride and the bridegroom. So I love that you said that. I also love that Jim mentioned that you just can't live on the glitter in your eyes and just what we call falling in love, because that falling means that you are not stable. And then if something goes wrong, we've already fallen in love. Now we don't know how to stand in the situation. So I think that was very powerful for the both of you. What you shared, both of you. I also love that Jim had mentioned basically a question we didn't even ask you is how did you learn from your experiences? And I could hear as you were sharing, Jim, based upon your past, how God wasn't involved, and how things are so different now, how God is the center of this relationship, which helps you to navigate day by day.
Right.
So we've determined that divorce is not even an option.
An option. Yes.
We made that decision when we decided that we would be married. And it's just not an option, because the thing too about not walking in the spirit is that you go on feelings. You know how feelings are so fickle and day to day. You cannot build a marriage on feelings at all.
No.
Because today I feel like going to work, tomorrow I may not feel like going to work.
Yes, indeed.
So
That's right.
It's just too fickle. You got to build on principles.
Right.
So true.
Right.
So true.
Right. So we have a final question that we ask everyone, but I'm going to kind of switch it around.
Yeah.
I want to know do you have a last word? So you said what you would tell yourself as your younger self. What's one thing really quick? A young couple's coming past you and they're about to get married, and you have 20 seconds to tell them something that's going to change the direction of their marriage forever, right? Would it be what you just said, or would it be something else?
I would say get the book, learn just like you learn about your job. They tell you what your tasks are. You do your due diligence to keep that job. Don't be willy-nilly about your marriage. Do the same due diligence.
That's good.
That's
good.
Get some books. And there are many, but the reason that I talk about the 5 love languages is it's an easy read, and it's very interesting. And then you can do a personality check just so that you can learn what that person, because I have a friend who mentioned that her husband, he likes to provide for her in his love language, which isn't hers.
Right.
So you can, let's say that Jim likes to buy me gifts, and you can do that, honey. That's fine. But that's not. But gifts aren't my love language. But I'll take them. But it's not. I'd rather you cut the grass. I'd rather you fix something that's broken, and I'd rather you tell me how good I look in the morning. Still give me a gift if you want, and that's quite okay. But that's not my language. When I first started dating Jim, he would always. I could go to the store and I could say, I'm going to find some curtains. This is a real thing. I was looking for some curtains to go in my kitchen. And no matter where I looked, I couldn't find the particular curtains. And I made the decision that I wanted to go to the store and get this or that. And before I could get to the counter, he's pulling out the credit card every time. And I start noticing, wait a minute. I noticed that I can never even get in my purse. He's pulling out the card. So then one day we're in the store, and I'm telling the lady, "Don't take his card. No, don't take." And I'm pushing him, and then I made a decision that I'm not gonna ever do that again, because first of all, I don't know him well enough. I don't know if that would offend him. So we got to the car. I said, "You know what? I just want you to know that I have. If I'm saying that I'm going to the store and buy this or that, I'm intended to pay for it. When I look at you." And I want it to be clear, because he's been used before. I want you to know that when I look at you, I don't see the wallet.
Yes.
So that's not your name, Wallet. But I just want, so then I said, so let's talk about when I go to the store, because I don't want to be pushing it and you still end up, because you're bigger than me, you still end up giving your credit card. I don't want to do that again. I want to respect you. And I just want to have this conversation. So that you know that if I say I'm going to go to the store for something. So then the bottom line is, what did you say about it? How did you resolve that? And we just had that conversation because it was funny at the store. But then I thought, wait a minute, this might not be so funny. It's funny to me. Maybe it's not so funny to him. Let me find out.
Right.
So he said,
we just had a conversation about, we're going to go do this. We're going to make this purchase. We're going to go out to dinner. And we're going to discuss before we go.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, you took me out last Saturday. I'm taking you out this Saturday.
Right.
I'm going this here. I'm going to buy this here. I'm going to get this. You go, Okay. So we discussed beforehand.
And then he said, if I say I got it, then that's it.
You're right.
So I'm like, works for me.
And once in a while, I throw a curveball.
Works for me.
Right.
You go on.
I love it.
And to your question also, I say, if I had to talk to the young gentleman on his way to the altar,
right,
I'll say, just remember, you two were just dating. You're a prince and she's a princess.
Woo.
When you say I do, you're the king and she's the queen.
Oh.
You better treat her like a queen.
That's fire. That's fire.
Before you got married, there was date night. So after you get married, make sure you continue date night, because you have to go out on a date. You have to, we're just married couple. We're going to sit at home in our pajamas and watch TV and eat ice cream. No, you take them out on that date. You make them feel special. You make that woman feel special. You protect her at all costs, no matter what. This is your queen. And that's where you should treat her like the queen.
Loved it.
That's so good.
Yes.
We're going out right after this. We're going out.
And so are we.
And so look, we've been on the 28-day fast, so we ready to eat.
Yeah. That's right. You guys, you were. So as because we don't want to hold up much. You want to ask the last one, or?
I think.
Oh, you think we're done?
Well, the only thing is, maybe we should say. Let me just say this. First of all, we loved talking with you all.
Yes.
I think it's amazing, and you guys are cutting edge. And maybe people don't understand cutting edge, but anytime you can be 60 and you can get married, that's cutting edge. Number two, when you can have a social media type date meeting that way and meet someone that you love. That is called cutting edge. And I say God's people are cutting edge when they trust him. When they trust him, God will have us cutting edge. People be like, I've never heard of such a thing. That's right. You don't know about my God.
Behold, I do a new thing.
Behold, I do a new thing. Have you not seen it? So you guys are that behold new thing that the Lord is showing other couples that can be. And it just blows my mind. So I want to say, last but not least, is there anything that you guys are doing? I know you do prayer and things like that. Is there anything that you are doing that you would like to share in case there's other people who would like to connect with you? If so, please take this moment and share the ministry.
We have a heart for the unhoused. We sometimes go out and feed and I've volunteered in shelters in the unhoused women's and non-binary shelter from time to time. It's not like something I'm going to do every weekend, because that's the only time that we really have to really But every now and again, and he loves doing that. He goes into the community too.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you know, you have to sit back and think. Sometimes in the morning, you know, I just got out of a nice warm bed, a nice soft bed, a nice warm house. I got a shower, I have my clothes, I have my car, I'm on my way to work. And just the past Saturday, I went in to grab a quick bite, and there was a gentleman sitting there, and all he had, I think, was a glass of water. And I just said, "Can I get you breakfast?" And he said, "Sure." And I bought him, you know, it's not for my satisfaction, it's just seeing that, you know, I was able to do this.
Yes.
Are you hungry? Yes, I haven't eaten, you know, and you just try, and it's giving back.
Yes.
My life, I was fortunate. I was brought up by a single father for quite a while. Then he got remarried, but you know, just the things he instilled in me. About being a man and how to treat a woman, and you never touch a woman, and you know, just the things. And I'm very grateful. I lost my dad too early. He was very young, but I just continue to do the work I need to do God's work, and God will tell you when you need to help. You know what you have to do, and it's you know, just giving back.
Love it.
Getting involved in anything you can. It's giving back.
Got it.
You know, part of what's been given to you.
You know what? He said something about never touch a woman. I have a really quick story, and I'm going to let you do what you do. So he always says, "Oh no, I will never tolerate a man hitting a woman." And if I see it in the street, oh my God, one day we were in the street and this girl was flinging around and the guy was after her, and I'm like, we coming down the stairs and it's cold, and she's just acting out, and the guy, I think, was grabbing her. This one comes down the stairs and goes to approach the guy, and I'm looking like, oh, I jump on his back because, you know, he's a big guy, but I kind of stopped him, and I'm like, let's see what's going on first. We're not trying I'm trying to have peace. I'm wearing my pea shoes, remember? But the guy wasn't trying to hurt her. It was the people said, "No, sir, it's you know," but he was ready.
Right.
He's one of these that have the Outback ministry. You come in there, he'll. So
Like that. We have a little ministry where we all go out back.
Not for real. But he was ready, and I'm like, "Oh no, wait, let's wait first."
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know that he is
okay.
Yeah, willing to defend a woman, the honor of a woman, and that's a beautiful gift to have. Well, we are going to get ready to wind up. We are so glad that you came on with us today. Looks like we've got some new friends. We've got some new friends, the Devines, and we are just thankful that you shared your story for others to hear how God brought you together. It was powerful.
Can we just do a real quick prayer real fast before we go?
Sure.
I just want to proclaim and speak over your marriage. I want to speak the words peace, shalom, peace, nothing missing, nothing broken, and prosperity of love, of possession, of wisdom, of health. And we speak these things and release these things over the Devines in Jesus' name. And we say, go, do, and produce, because there's a whole lot out there that needs what you're giving. So thank you for this couple, God, in the name of Jesus, and make a way for them to be what I want to say, seed sowers in the ground of today's gardens. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen and amen.
Hallelujah.
Listen, we're gonna take you up on the dinner.
Okay, we'll be waiting.
I'll make dinner.
Well, thank you again, and we are so glad to have met you all here, and we will be in touch.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to tonight's episode of 28 Days of Love.
Kim
and Dr. New.
And our beautiful Devine
The
family.
Devines.
Yes.
We'll see you next
We'll
time.
see you next time. Be blessed.
All right.
Marriage is one of the best decisions I ever made.
God ordained and established this covenant. We are part of that beautiful union.
So it's time that we promote this unconditional love and help families understand how,
Through prayer,
faith,
commitment,
sacrifice,
humility,
submission,
and the love of God,
you can have a beautiful,
lifelong,
loving marriage. Now, it won't be perfect,
but it will be worth it.
So join us for 28 Days of Love
On February 1st through the 29th at 6 p.m.
as we celebrate love and marriage
and change the visual narrative we see on social media by presenting a healthy marriage.
and share the benefits of covenant,
You can expect to hear encouraging testimonies,
communication tips,
how to relate with your mate,
establish new love goals and grows,
write a marriage and family vision, and singles learn how to prepare for your partner
as well as gain ideas for date night.
as a way to reignite and dial up that love flame.
See you Thursday, February 1st